get you guys to answer a question. So I want to share a fun story with you this morning. Before I get into the story, I want to write down this this word or words hyphenated: self-esteem. What does that mean? What does self-esteem mean?
How you feel about yourself.
Okay, so self meaning the you, right? First person, and esteem. What does esteem mean?
How you view yourself. Like,
Yeah, the dictionary says how you regard yourself, right? In other words, what you think about yourself. Esteem really means, if we look at the dictionary, they'll say to appreciate, right? Which is interesting. So in other words, what? Self-appreciation. And is that something that people struggle with? Self-appreciation. Say yes.
Yes.
You all do. We all do. There are moments where we appreciate ourselves, and there are other times where we don't appreciate ourselves. Just like the people in our lives. Sometimes there are people in our lives we appreciate, and sometimes there are people we don't appreciate. For example, this morning, Ruby asked you to give some of your gratitudes, and not one of you thought about appreciating me at all. I felt really bad about it. So now I'm suffering from self-esteem issues, but it's a struggle. So one of the things that I want to do is this. I want you to write down 10 things that are positive about yourself, that you appreciate about yourself. And I know this is difficult because it's probably easier to come up with some things that you don't appreciate about yourself, because we're much more practiced at doing that, Quinn. Yes or yes?
Yes.
The average person is much more practiced at knocking themselves down and identifying all of their foibles and flaws and issues, as opposed to saying, no, what, I'm fantastic for all of these reasons. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take just a minute or two, doesn't matter, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, and write down 10 things that you appreciate about yourself. You know, I talk about we are in the business of communicating. We're professional communicators, and we're communicating all the time with our clients and the people we work with. But at the end of the day, the most important conversation we'll have every single day is the conversation we have with ourselves, particularly in the subconscious mind. So if you acknowledge the things that are great about you, that you appreciate, it's a very powerful thing. What do you appreciate? What's good about you? You're kind, you're forgiving. You have a great skill. And like Adam, you look good in a pair of glasses. Like Aubrey, you're a gentle giant. You kick everybody's ass, but you're not going to. He's a nice guy. At least that's what I tell myself, because I don't want to be afraid of it. I see a couple of you in the 30s. That's crazy. Just kidding. Take another 60 seconds. If you're having a hard time, which I see some of you, you know, you're on a little bit of a struggle of coming up with some ideas, think about what others would say about you. You know, what'd your mom say about you? Your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend. What would they say? Because sometimes it's difficult to acknowledge what is great about ourselves because of that story we tell ourselves every single day. And sometimes we got to go outside of ourselves and say, well, this is what other people say about me. I don't necessarily believe it, but this is what they say. Okay, 30 more seconds. All right. Let's wrap it up. Okay, so question for you, was that difficult? Was it?
Yeah, it started being difficult like halfway through. I was like, oh man. Like,
So you say it was difficult, what does that mean? What was going through your brain? Having a hard time finding things or writing things down and saying, well, I don't know that I don't really believe that, or what? What was going on?
Yeah, trying to say good things about myself.
Isn't that interesting?
Think that I'm really bad.
Right. Isn't that interesting? It's difficult to write down a positive thing about ourselves. Why is that? Why? I mean, to me, the most obvious answer is because we're so well practiced at saying the opposite of beating ourselves up, that anything that's positive, it doesn't fit the narrative. So I have a hard time writing that down. And it was interesting because I watched some of you like really struggle getting out 3 or 4, which is very interesting, right? It doesn't mean that there aren't great things to say about yourself. It's just that we get in this habit of not esteeming ourselves, of appreciating ourselves. We're in the habit of tearing ourselves down. Now, what I find is that most people get in line. In fact, they'll butt in line to be the first person to say negative things about themselves. So, Bob, you said that it was a little difficult. What do you mean? What happened?
Well, I mean, I could find 3 or 4 right away that I was confident in.
Okay. So share one with us that you were confident in.
That I care about others.
Okay, cool. It's good. So you have empathy, you have care, you have concern. I love it. Okay. All right. So you said it was a little difficult.
yeah.
Why?
I thought you were gonna ask me to read them all, and then
He's just like, which one do I say? Which one do I eliminate?
no, it also is it's almost you're very contemplative. I'm like, oh, am I really like that?
Yeah.
You started thinking about things like I say or do in my head.
Yep.
I'm like, oh crap, I'm not really like that because I did this thing or I did that thing. And you actually are, but
We get self-critical.
yeah.
Start to dice it up and say, well, no, not it's because of that. I know I can't say
Yeah.
that. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? Kelly, how about you? How'd it go?
No, it was good.
Was it?
I did okay.
He's like, I got 22. What were one of the ones that you wrote down that you felt really good about? Like, no, I'm confident in that thing.
I don't forgive easily. Not afraid to love and trust.
I love that. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Yeah, Adam, how about you? What did you write down?
Great father.
Great father. Love that. You believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, cool. How about you?
Supportive
Supportive. Okay. All right. To whom, for whom? How?
for my family.
For your family. Okay. I love it. That's great. What'd you write that?
That I'm kind.
Okay, you are kind. Yeah, you're definitely amiable, which is awesome. Yeah. How about you?
I say the same.
You're kind?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
Go on.
yeah, you're amiable as well, which is awesome. Yeah. Amiables tend to be some of the best eaters. In fact, quite frankly, they are because they're very empathetic. Yeah, which is interesting. So this, I want to share this story with you because I think it's really important to. I started with having you do this exercise, and then I want to share the story with you just so you recognize how important it is the conversation we have with ourselves. And if you that every day you got up, instead of doing what the average person does, which is subconsciously recount all the things that are wrong with them and why they aren't enough and that they'll never succeed and why they're not worthy, and instead do what you did there and acknowledge that consistently, how different our experience would be. So I like to do basketball, you know that, and I'm really good. I am.
I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it.
I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna play. It's been a while, but
What are you good at? You good at dribbling? You good at shooting? Like, what are you good at?
I'm great at shooting. Dribbling, not so much. But I play a hell of a defense. So people don't like me because I don't leave them alone. In fact, I got 22 stitches right here because I wouldn't leave a guy alone. He's like 6'5" and he just went, bam! And people looked at me like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? What are you doing? I said, why are you still playing ball? Look at your shirt. Look down. Blood. I mean, like literally just soaking, and my chin was splayed open. So yeah, so great defense. So you better watch me. Yeah. So this was 10 years ago. I'm playing basketball with Ben Lemon. We're playing one-on-one because I used to get up every morning and play ball, whether it was with George, group of guys, but this morning it happened to be just meeting Ben Lemon at Lifetime Fitness. And a couple of young guys walk in, probably late teens, early 20s. And Ben said, you want to see if those guys want to play? Just, 2-on-2. I said, yeah, of course. So we walk over and say, hey, you guys want to play? And they said, sure. We find out that they're brothers, older brother, younger brother. Younger brother was more athletic, but I wanted, we're picking teams. And I looked at the brothers and I said, so who's a better basketball player? And the younger brother looked at the older brother, kind of hesitated, and then pointed at the older brother. And the older brother simultaneously pointed to himself. So it was unanimous. There was one better player. And who do you think I chose?
The older brother.
I chose the older brother. I want the guy who believes that he's the better player, Adam. So we're playing, and we won, actually trounced them. I don't think that they got, it was 2s and 3s to 21. And I don't think that they broke single digits. We trounced them. So it was obvious to me that we were the better team. Well, I like to mix things up, and I wanted, bless you, I wanted to prove a point. So I said, well, let's just switch up the teams. I'll take the younger brother. I don't remember his name. I had their names at the time. I said, I'll take the younger brother. But we didn't just start playing. I said, before we play, just give us a timeout for a second. So I talked to the younger brother. And I said, so let me ask you a question. You said that your older brother is a better basketball player. I said, you realize you're taller than him, right? Yeah, by several inches. And I said, you're also more athletic. Just look at the way you're built as compared to the way he is built. I said, you're a better athlete. I said, it doesn't make any sense to me that you would think that he is a better basketball player. And I watched you play. The fact is, you're a better basketball player. And I said, and you know what's more important than that? He said, what? I said, I don't lose. And so you're on my team now, so we're not going to lose. And I'm serious. And he's looking like, this guy's lost his mind. And I said, no, we're not going to lose. I said, we're going to win this game. Well, a few minutes later, the score is 19-11. We're 11, they're 19. I am not happy. They're 1 3-pointer operate away from a win. I am not happy. So I call a timeout, and Ben looks at me and says, you can't call a timeout. There are no timeouts in this thing. And I said, yes, there are. We're calling a timeout. And I looked at him. I said, I pulled him over, and they couldn't hear me. I said, look, we're not losing this. I said, I don't play to lose. I said, I'm here to not only get exercise, but I'm here to win. And we're not losing against these two. I said, you're a better basketball player than your brother. You just have to recognize that. I said, so let me ask you, where do you like to shoot? And he showed me where. It was 3-point line. And he said, really anywhere along the arc. I said, fine. I said, you're going to get the ball. And every time I'm going to make certain that I inbound the ball, get it to you, and you're going to shoot. And I said, if you can't get off a shot, then get it to me, and then I'm going to get it back to you. And we're going to get off some shots here because we need some points. And I said, you're going to do great. I said, you hear me? You got it? He said, okay. So anyway, I inbound the ball, to him. He takes it, and he can't get off a shot, so he gets it back to me. I kind of dribble it around because I'm okay dribbling, right? And then I get it back to him in his spot. He throws up a 3, and guess what happens? He makes it. Yeah, no, he made it. He made it, right? Well, you make it, you take it. That's the way we play. So it's our opportunity again. So we inbound it. I get it to him. He can't get off a shot. He gets it to me. So I throw up, a layup or whatever. I make the basket. Make it, take it. We get it again. Well, we keep doing this, and he missed the next shot. We rebound it. I get the ball. Get it to him. He throws up another 3. He does what?
Makes it.
He makes it, right? And ultimately, there we are. We're tied at 19-19. All right. And it's his opportunity to either make a 3 or miss it and give them an opportunity, because his brother's all about making 3s. And I do not want them to have an opportunity to make a 3. Take a 3. So we inbound the ball, and he throws it up, and guess what happens?
Makes it.
He misses. He misses. Yeah, he misses. And unfortunately, they rebound the ball. They get an opportunity to throw it up, and guess what happens?
They make it.
No, they didn't. And we rebound the ball, and I get it to him, and he takes a shot, and what happens?
He makes it.
He makes it. Yeah.
Good.
And yeah, and we win the game. Okay. And I looked at him and I just said, just remember this. I said, you keep telling yourself that your brother's the better basketball player, that you're not a good basketball player. And that is the very reason that you lose. I said, the reason that you won here is because you recognize that you're capable. You changed your story. You had somebody beside you who was confronting you on that and getting you to acknowledge that. And that's the reason, gang, we started out this morning by me having you acknowledge the things that are great about yourself, because what we have a tendency to do is to beat ourselves up. And it's easy for us to count all the things that aren't good about us and that we want to change. And it's difficult for us to come up with a list of the things that we esteem, that we appreciate about ourselves. And if we can be consistent at acknowledging those things that we esteem about ourselves, I can tell you that our outcomes can be dramatically different. Now, I never did get to see that young man again, but I would hope to say and pray that when he goes out and plays against his brother, that he realizes that he's actually a better player, whether he is or not, because it could be that his brother beats him 6, 7, 8 times out of 10. Doesn't matter. The issue is, what does he believe? Because it's what I think it was what Henry Ford said. It may have been Thomas Edison, but I think it was Henry Ford said this. He said, whether you think you can or can't, either way, you're what?
Right.
You're right. In other words, we have a tendency to get what we focus on. So if you focus on that list of all those powerful things about yourself, all those great things that you say about yourself, right, as opposed to the negative things, your outcomes on average are going to be better than they otherwise would. And who's looking for a better outcome? Then shift your focus, change the narrative, the conversation with yourself, begin to esteem yourself and appreciate yourself. Get out of that habit of what the normal average person does, which it's a daily conversation session of beating themselves up, of picking themselves apart, of doing all the sorts of things that they would never tolerate another human being beside them who's close to them saying and doing on a daily basis. Yes or yes?
Yeah.
So you said you wrote down and you thought you were going to share all of them. So share them. I want to hear them.
Here. Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear them.
So I'm strong. I have a nice smile.
Isn't that true? Look at his smile.
I'm actually blushing. I'm black.
Didn't notice. Sorry.
I'm kind to others. I see others, so I put empathy. I feel like I'm a good conversationalist. I'm athletic. I'm understanding. I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
I really do care about people.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving. I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm grateful to have all my limbs.
There you go. Awesome. So you appreciate that you're whole.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Very, very cool. Anybody else want to share all their list or anything in particular that maybe you didn't get to share? No? Come on. What was another one? Come on. Yeah, I was going to call on you, Bob. So.
Oh, okay. But I'm a hard worker. I'm supportive of others. I think forward. I'm reliable. I'm positive. Good friend. Smart.
Yeah.
Only got 8.
That's okay. That's a really good list. Gang, if you will, just get well practiced acknowledging those things. And I promise you this, that your outcomes will be so much better. You know, it's difficult to expect great outcomes when you beat up the person who's expected to deliver to you great outcomes. Imagine a young child and saying the negative things that you say about yourselves to them versus saying the things that you wrote down to them, how much different their self-perception would be and how differently they would act. Night and day, right? Revolutionary, yes. Remember that. The single most important conversation you'll have on a daily basis is the conversation with yourself. All right. Having said that, let's get up. Let's finish this up with some closing affirmation. Speaking of